Good morning, folks. This is Lindsey Hudson with SPS back in the building for another SPS Monday Motivation. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I had an outstanding, tremendous, magnificent weekend. It was great. Got to see some of my bros play some golf for a great cause. Shout out to all my Alpha brothers that we got together down in Oakland Township to play. It was great for a great cause. Iota Road, Lambda. Shout out to those brothers and shout out to Steve Banks and my Sands for putting that together. Mato Allen, Jarrell Sharkey Amos. That was great. Also got a chance to spend time with them Henry Ford Trojans. That's right. 20,000 Evergreen. Got to hang out. Was over at Hines Park in Westland. It was a great, great time. And I'm sure many of my brothers and sisters got down at the Sauce Bar on 7 Mile. It was on a mile with it. But it was a great, great weekend, no doubt. And as I always say, my Monday motivations are either things that happen in my life directly or just pulled from the headlines. So there was a great thing that's been going on. There's a spirit moving. I don't know if it's just generational, I don't know if it's just this post-pandemic feeling of people putting themselves in position to step up. That's right. I want to shout out my guy. You guys will know him on social media as Jack Tripper, but he's my guy, Dinez. We go way back to pre-college. That's my brother right there. Appreciate the bucket. Appreciate the stick, the shades, and the Pam Grill love. That's my brother right there. It's a good brother. And he experienced over the last week something that we all see, but we never speak on. The Detroit Pistons have so gracefully come back into the city and reinvested with these beautiful courts throughout the city. And one of the places that Nez frequents, there was a lot of trash and debris around. And I know how he was. This is without me even talking about it. Like, this don't make no sense. This is ridiculous. Just us coming of age and seeing almost the things that our parents taught us, but now as adults and able-bodied individuals who can make things happen, we can look at how we can step up. And Dinez made a point. He said, man, I'm gonna get out here every other day and I'm gonna clean up these Gatorade bottles, this trash, this debris, and that's his bag right there. You can see his shadow looming in the background, but it speaks to what we're capable of doing. And the irony of this is throughout, my time at the family reunion, you might well call it the family reunion, the class reunion, there was a spirit with the brothers that I was talking to of different age groups about how they wanted to get involved and do more. Shout out to my guy, Rico McGore, and also Tyrone Booney Gribble. It's Tyrone right there is Booney. Booney has moved to Arizona, but he was back. And it's funny because he was, I thought he was on his phone talking. And I was going over to holler at him before I was getting ready to make a move. But he was actually doing a Facebook Live, and it was kind of impromptu. And I kind of got in on it. So we had a few minutes of motivating folks. But this idea I want to talk about, folks, of stepping up comes back to this. And shout out to Rico, too. He got to hang out later. That's my guy right there. Rico and Booney, they had the sauce with it. I know they had a good time. But what I want to talk to you guys about today is the notion of stepping up and what that means and what you can do. I was doing some research on it. I always go to Psychology Today to have the psychological roots. And they talk about a best-selling author named John Izzo. Not to be confused with Tom Izzo, the Hall of Fame coach at Michigan State, my guy, but John Izzo. And this author talked about the definition of stepping up, and his mindset was simple. Stepping up is seeing a need and deciding you're the right person to do something about it. Dinez saw a need. He said, man, it's trash out here. I know everybody's probably looking around waiting for the next person to do something. He said, you know what? I'm going to step up. I'm going to step up. There's a need, and I'm the one who can do something about it. Izzo also goes on to say it's about not looking to anyone else to create the change, but to do what you can in your sphere of influence. And that's what we always do. We'll look around, and we'll all recognize that there's a problem. We all recognize that there's an issue, small, large, and in the middle, but no one will feel empowered to be the one to do it. Now, there's like, man, I ain't picking up no trash, because we all know that when you talk about debris and trash, there's a connotation, a negative connotation that comes with that. Oh, I don't want to be the one doing that. But Dinez is confident enough within himself as a man and just as a human, as an adult, to say, okay, there's a responsibility. I can do that. John Izzo also goes on to say, this is not the wagging the finger telling you to step up. And that's not how I'm coming off. These words were really well said. Not my words, but his, but I can really relate to that. He said, but this is about an empowering message, folks, of what happens when we stop worrying about what anyone else is doing and choose to do what we can do. Come on, folks. We know how that goes. We were doing some giving yesterday. Shout out to my guy, Chuck, on the mic, and talked about how we can give to the Henry Ford Educational Foundation, something that's a great resource that can help those events like the picnic and other things happening. And, Chuck kind of called some people out, talking about, people are out here with additional resources and why not give back? See, I think so many times it's not that people don't want to give, it's the discouragement they have about how they will be perceived or what people will think. And too many times, like I said, when Booney and I went back and forth, you should check out his 9 minutes or so on this Facebook Live. I'll make sure I tag Tyrone, Booney Gribble, and Jack Tripper so you can go see all the great work these brothers are doing. I know his sisters out there doing it too, but we get so caught up in what other people think. We get so caught up in how we're going to be perceived. And that limits the opportunity to do so many wonderful things in life, whether it's going and picking up some debris that you choose to do and then you can make things better. And I tell you what, when Jack Tripper / Dinez goes out and picks up that debris and people see him doing that, that's going to spark something in someone to say, let me hold on to this bottle and not just throw it on the ground. Let me find a place to put it. There's a snowball effect that comes with that. And I'm just trying to say, in the spirit I got from my Henry Ford Trojans and talking to these brothers on different levels of age and experience and what they're doing, is this idea that people are ready to step up. It's not just Jack Tripper, cleaning up the Detroit Pistons court in the community. It's not Tyrone Booney Gribble just shouting out to his people in Detroit and Arizona saying, man, some more things that we can do if we come together. It's not, my brothers come together talking about what they want to do with their music and move it to the next or whatever it may be. This spirit of wanting to step up, it's in us already. And I think so many times we do become these prisoners of our past and we say, well, what are people going to think? But there's something that you can do and you're especially equipped for it. You just have to say within yourself, I'm going to do it. So many times we get caught up with the money. Money is very important. I'm all about business. SPS is a platform that, as a nonprofit organization, has to be about business for it to continue to have its impact. And the charity is what I determined the charity to be, not what somebody else determined the charity to be. But with that, I think it's very important to keep a perspective about what about the impact you can have. What can you do to make an impact? And it may not be somebody there with a check. And oftentimes, if we waited for the check to come, and many times the check, the fair market value of the check, is not even worth, the time you had to put in. So it's really not going to be the fulfillment coming from the check. The fulfillment, guys, can come from us knowing that we did something to change the course or direction of something. You did something, Dinez. You did something, Booney, when you put that out on social media for someone to look at and someone be reminded and get a spark. And like I always like to tell people when we have these, deep conversations, when we're pontificating about the future, and if it's something that resonates with you, in many cases, if I'm having this conversation with you, I don't want to take the credit for to be the one that showed you the light. I'm just speaking the same language that you understand. I'm sharing something on the same frequency that you can relate to. That's why when someone says something or you read something or you hear something and it hits right here, it's not necessarily saying that person is the end all be all and just showing you the way. They're just reminding you of what you know already, what's already in you. So anyone out here with this idea of something they want to do, something they want to take care of, just step up. The time is now. I'm 46. My peer group is around that. We've seen it. We've done it. We've watched others do it. Now it's our time. If it's something you want to do, just get out there and do it. Many times we get caught up with this, paralysis of pontification, just trying to wait and figure things out. We're like, well, I got to have it all right. That's the favorite excuse to stop something from happening. It got to be right. I do understand. Right and in order, I understand that. But there's also the concept of, you know what? You need to just really get out there and make something happen with it. And make something happen and let it come. Because the same thing, you're sitting back and you're holding back on waiting to move on. You don't even know. Those variables probably don't even have an impact on the next step. You almost have to kind of get out there and get things going just to even see what the market is about. I don't know, whatever it is you may be working on. So with that being said, guys, I just had a wonderful time this weekend. Shout out to the bros for golf. Shout out to, Henry Ford for showing all the love. There was so much love at Hines Park. And it's not a surprise. It's always like that. Shout out to Dinez, Jack Tripper, that is, for getting out there on the court and cleaning up the court. Appreciate you, my brother. You inspired me. You inspired me to step up. You don't got to step up and do all things, but you can step up and handle some things. And there's something you're uniquely ready for that you can handle. And if you do it, it's going to have a major impact. It doesn't have to necessarily be going to pick up the debris that someone left at the basketball court. It could be how you hold the door in the morning. It could be what you bring to the morning meeting to help morale get boosted. It can be those kind words you say to someone when you pull them to the side. I want to thank everybody who showed me the love. Shout out to my guy, Paul. We go way back to like 10th grade. He pulled me to the side. So, man, I seen it way back when. Now, it's one thing for him to believe that. That's great. It's another thing for him to share that. But it's really big that he shared it with me. and to be in this thing where we are still empowering each other. Something about connecting with your childhood roots, man, and looking at where you are, where you've been, what you've overcome, and what you got going on now. I just want to encourage you all. You made it. If you hear it, you can hear this in my voice, hear this message. If it resonates, there's something you can step up with in your life or in the life of others. So with that, I don't want to keep going on. Had a great time, great week. It's going to be another great week going on. I'm going to be spending some time with some awesome football programs. That's right, football, you guys, in the mid-Michigan area. I want to shout out the Community Foundation of Lansing for supporting SPS with the grants to go and talk to these players about mental health and mental toughness. So you'll be seeing a lot coming as it relates to that. And we're going to be out here. So with that, wish you guys all the best. Number love. Peace.